It's time for the Daily Stand Up Podcast presented by Agile Dad with your host, Lee Henson. Without any further ado, let's get started. I never picture myself doing a podcast episode based on a Katy Perry quote, but in one of the documentaries that I saw about Katy Perry, she said something and eventually ended up becoming a lyric to her song. She said, "If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything." And wow, when I heard that, I was just like, oh my goodness, that's so true. And I thought to myself, what do I stand for? And on this episode of the Agile, not so agile episode of the Daily Podcast, I thought it'd be a good idea for us to kind of dive in and think about what we stand for and how we determine what we stand for. Recently, there's been legislation, even at the Supreme Court level in the United States, that has been interesting and shocking, and it's just one of those things where when you see huge changes to the way that we operate as a society, and when you see changes to the governing laws of the land, and when you see changes that are brought about by media and by politics and by all these outside places, it makes it more and more difficult for us to choose what we want to espouse and represent and what we want to disavow and not be part of. And I hope that we can take an opportunity with all of the things happening around the world, whether it's something financial, whether it's something personal, whether it's something job related, whatever it is going on in your life. I hope that you'll just take a moment and reflect. So, I did a podcast not too long ago about introspectives and how to look inside of yourself and find what you really feel. And I talked a little there about how no one can make you feel a certain way, that you choose to feel a certain way as reactionary to something that someone else presents. My hope is that we can take this moment in time to really look inside of ourselves and say, who are we? And when I say who are we, I'm talking about three key things. The first key is, who are we as an individual? We have to be grounded in something. What grounds us? What makes us who we are today? Are we grounded in spiritual beliefs? Are we grounded in our family? Are we grounded by the way that we carry throughout our days? Do we have some type of spiritual centering that we do? Who are we and how are we grounded? I think that's a good question. The second key element that we have to think of or consider is, do we have a story to tell? Now, this is an interesting one because I don't want to talk about specifically a story about something that's happened in our lives, although those are good stories, don't get me wrong. What I'm thinking is, are we leaving a legacy? Do we have a story to tell? Will people have a story to tell about us? And I think that's a much bigger question, right? What story will people say about you? If your name is Michael, what story will people have to say about Michael? What will people say about you when you're long gone? Have you left a legacy behind? Will people remember the things that you've done, and will people still use the tools that you've helped them gain? Are you using your times and talents to the best of your abilities to uplift others? And then finally, you want to make sure that you can also dream and that you can look forward with positivity. I realize that this world, especially today, has been filled with so much negativity, whether it's negative news, and the sad part is negativity sells, and people are using negativity as a weapon to manipulate us to purchase things, to feel certain ways, and it's just awful. We need to come to terms with positivity and decide that we're going to press forward with positivity and that we're going to find some type of goal or aspiration. Now, my assignment to you for this Friday is to figure out a way to create and maintain a gratitude journal. Look for the things that you're grateful for each day. Notate the things you're grateful for each day. Today, I'm especially grateful that my son is preparing to serve a 2-year mission in Mexico City, serving people and teaching them about what we believe and how we live our lives. And I think that's just absolutely amazing. I'm grateful for my beautiful wife who lives every day to her fullest to help us as a family be a cohesive unit. and to help us really engage and do the things that we do. I'm grateful for every single one of my children and for their contributions and for the things they do to make the world a better place. I could go on forever with the list of things that I'm grateful for, but I hope that you'll find it in your heart that as the world around us falls into chaos, that you can be above it. You can look over all those clouds of indetermination and that you can decide that you're going to be a better person by uplifting others and by doing the things necessary and by recognizing the positive things that are happening to you so that you can be in a better place. So I hope that this message reaches you well. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Monday with another episode of the Daily Stand Up Podcast. Stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care.